everybody, it's Wendy, and today we are going to make a necklace and earring set using products from the Bargain Bead Box February 2021 edition, which was called Spring Rain. Now, I've got to say, I have made so much jewelry out of this month's Bargain Bead Box. I mean, like, five, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 sets already. And I've still got a ton of beads, and I keep thinking, when am I going to get to the end of these beads? Because I really need to move on to some other projects. But oh, Bargain Bead Box, I've got to say, they really, it really is a good value for your money. So it's a monthly subscription service where you get $65 to $75 worth of beading supplies delivered straight to your door for $17.98 a month. I mean, you really can't beat it. It's great. And I do finished jewelry updates of the things that I make from this. So if you want to check out that playlist, you can see. You can also watch my unboxings. There's a playlist for that. And there's a playlist for all the stuff I make using the Bargain Bead Box. There's necklace playlist, there's earring playlist, and bracelet playlist. So check them out. They're really a great deal. When you subscribe, you also get a 30% off coupon to use in their sister store, Bead Box Bargains. You can use that over and over and over all month long. So it's a great deal. I love Bargain Bead Box. So I have a $2 coupon code. You can use this Wendy2 if you want to get $2 off of your subscription. If you want to subscribe, that'll give you $2 off the first month's box. Or if you don't want to subscribe, you just want to shop in their store, you can use Wendy2 to get $2 off of your purchase in their store. And I believe you can do that more than one time. I believe you can do that Wendy2 in their store over and over, but you can only do it one time on the subscription box. Okay? So let me show you what we're going to do today, what you need. So you will need, whoops, oh, don't drop, please don't drop things. Okay. You will need some of the beads, these really pretty sparkly beads that came in the box this month. I've got 2 for this pendant piece and 1 for each earring, so a total of 4. I have 3 of these stardust beads for the pendant and 3 for each earring, so a total of 9. And then I pulled a little, well, I have 3 of these, I'm sorry, 3 of these crackle agate beads for the pendant and 1 for each earring, so 5 of those. And then I pulled from my own stash a couple of 6mm fire polish beads and some 6mm bicones. So you can add in other beads if you need, whatever. I wanted to just add in a few other beads. And then I have 3 closed rings, 1 for the pendant and 1 for each earring that we're going to attach everything to. I have 2 fishhook ear wires for the earrings. I have 2 crimp beads and 2 clamshell covers. I have a length of Coriana chain that we're going to put the pendant on. This is on my website. I have it in rose gold, gold, antique silver, bright silver, and gunmetal. And I actually ordered it in, well, I think it's it. I ordered something that I'm hoping is the same thing as this in red, copper, and bronze. I haven't received it yet, but I'm going to try it out and see if it works like the Coriana chain does. Hopefully it will, so we'll see. But I have a length of this, I believe I have about 24 inches of this Coriana chain. And then I have these magnetic clasps. Now, we're going to talk about these. These are on my website, and when I ordered these, okay, well, let me just say this. All right, so when you use these magnetic clasps, you have to use them with the Coriana chain and crimps. So it would totally make sense for me for them to both of the big holes to be on the same part that magnetizes together, because you're going to put the chain through here, you're going to crimp it, you're going to put it through the small hole, you're going to crimp it over here, then you're going to pull it back, and it's going to go up inside of here and you won't see it, right? Well, for some reason, these magnetize small hole to big hole, okay? Which is an extreme pain, because when you put your Coriana chain out the small hole and crimp it, it's not going to pull back through there and catch on the big hole like it would if they were like this. I hope this is making sense. So I emailed the company and they're like, no, there's nothing wrong with them. That's how they're supposed to be. And I'm like, well, then how do you use them? And nobody could tell me. So I took him to work. I'm like, okay, Mandy, my coworker, we can figure anything out. She can figure anything out. So she looked at it and she's like, well, she said, the only thing I can see to do is crimp it the way you were saying in this one. Then crimp it on the outside of this one. And then when they go together, if the crimp is done correctly on this, it will go up inside of this when they magnetize together and it will still close flush. So that is the only way I can see to use these guys. I mean, if you can think of a different way that this will work, please let me know, because Mandy and I both examined them. The company apparently has no clue what what they're doing. So I'm going to show you how to do that with this today. I do love these magnetic clasps. They are very strong for a necklace. They're awesome. I think they would work great for bracelets too. But like I said, it's just a weird setup here. It would totally make sense for these two sides to magnetize together, but they absolutely will not, as you can see. They just won't do it. So we're going to try that out anyway, and see. And if it fails, then I'll use a lobster. So anyway, you're going to need some jump rings. I'm using these little oval jump rings. I love these to death because the split is on the side, so I feel like they're very secure and won't come undone. These are on my website as well. The Coriana chain is, the lobster or clamshells are, and I've got some head pins that we're going to be making a lot of dangles from. Okay, so look, my magnetic clasp just like jumped up onto my head pin container. Okay, so get your jewelry tools together and we will get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make dangles here. Oh, I do have some little spacer beads as well. Let me grab them out. These are teeny tiny little spacer beads. I love these because they're so teeny tiny and cute. And here they are. They are, I believe, 3mm, and they're on my website as well if you're interested in them. I will link my website in the description box below. All right, so we're going to make a cluster. That's what we're going to do. This is going to be a very simple, very just easy little necklace. And let me find my... I'm actually going to use my one-step looper today because we're going to make so many dangles. I'm normally not a huge fan of the one-step looper, but I'm going to use it today because I'm making so many. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is just start making your dangles. So I want my, I'm going to do this kind of like in a cluster on this little ring right here. Okay, so I'm going to do it this way. You can do it however you want to do it. But I'm going to do 2 of my little whatcha-jiggies on there, my little spacer beads on there. Now, let me do this right. Okay, so this is how you do the one-step looper. And the reason I don't like it is if you get down really close to your bead, it's going to break your bead. But if you're up high away, then you have a bunch of space, and I don't really care for that. And then it doesn't always close up your loop. So, I don't know. It's not my favorite thing, but I gotta say, it does make making bead dangles way faster if you use it. So I'm going to use it today because we're making a lot of dangles. So you're going to just make dangles with all of these beads. Now you can combine the beads if you want to. I don't really want to. I want to have a pretty good cluster. And so all of my little beads, I'm just going to make, I'm just going to put one on each thing. Now I may add a spacer on there with them just to give it some silver down in the dangle part since I'm using silver chain. These fire polish beads are so pretty. But that's all I'm doing is just making a bunch of little dangles. And really, the reason I'm okay with using the one-step looper on this one is they don't all have to be exactly the same length. They can be different lengths. So, because we're going to make them, some hang a little lower than others, and so that's okay on this. So, there we have it. Thank you to everybody who wished me a happy birthday. I want to say, I am not, like, I don't really, if Chris hadn't reminded me that it was my birthday, honest to goodness, I would not have even remembered it, but he made it a very special day, and he got me a really pretty necklace, and he took me to eat at Joe's Crab Shack, or not Joe's Crab Shack, what am I thinking, Captain George's seafood buffet in Norfolk, Virginia, or Virginia Beach. We went there and I had crab legs, which is like my favorite thing ever. So yeah, he made it very special. So it was a good day, and my boys called, which of course makes it special because I love to hear from them, and the fact that they remember you on your birthday is makes it even better. But yeah, Landon was funny because he has had a history of not remembering. I think the last time he remembered my birthday, he was like 6 years old. And so he texted me yesterday and he said, "Happy birthday." And I was like, "Oh my goodness." I said, "You remembered. I feel so special." And he said, "Well, actually, my calendar remembered." I said, "Well, hey, at least I made the calendar this year." I mean, I felt loved. So, yeah, I did hear from both of them, and that was very nice. So you're just going to continue to make all these little dangles. If you have the one-step looper, this is going to go pretty quickly. If you don't have the one-step looper, you can, you can still do it. I usually do my dangles by hand. I usually don't do this with the one-step looper, but just for the purposes of this video and not driving everybody crazy by making a million dangles with my regular pliers, I thought I would use it. Look at this. See, a lot of these head pins come like this. I guess they're just cheap ones. I did get them from China, so I just cut that off. But you can tell that their little machine has made some mistakes, and a ton of these were like that. I actually have these for sale on the website, and I have to, when somebody orders them, I'm having to go through and make sure that they don't have that. A lot of them have, so I probably won't order these again, but, you live and learn, right? Okay. So we're going to do this one. I've got just a couple more, and then we're going to go ahead and hang them on our ring, and I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to layer them a little bit, or not layer them, but vary them so they're not all the same length. We'll add some jump rings in there and do that. Make them a little different. I like these colors really well. These navies I think are beautiful, and I really liked them with the silver. So the box this month came with copper, and I love the copper, but I really just thought the silver was so pretty with these beads right here and these stardust ones, so I just went ahead and went with the silver for this. But the copper is very pretty with this navy as well. Okay, so there we go. So now you've got all your little dangles made here. So I'm going to grab a bunch of jump rings. I love these oval jump rings. They are absolutely my favorite. And I've got them in this size. And then I'm getting ready to add to the website this size, which is bigger. Quite a bit bigger. But, and it's an antique silver. But I haven't put those up yet. I'm going to. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a few of these jump rings. Okay. I'm going to take one and I'm going to put two on it, just like this. And I'm just going to create a little chain here for my biggest bead, because I want it to hang a little bit longer than some of the other ones. So I'm going to do like a 4-link chain here. Okay, so just go ahead and hook your big bead on there. Whoops. So I have a 4-link chain. I'm going to hook him on. If you can hear Chris talking, he's working right now. He's on the phone. Okay. And then I'm just going to hook this to my ring. My big ring over here. Just like that. Okay, so there's what you got. Now I'm going to take another jump ring. And I'm going to wait and do him in a minute. I'm going to do a stardust bead here. And I'm just going to hook it on probably 2. Because I want these to hang at varied levels. I don't want them all the same length. And one thing you got to watch with this one-step looper, and you'll need to go through and make sure that all of your little loops are closed, because it's really bad about not closing the loops up. It leaves your little loops open. Okay, let's close that up. And we're just going to add these all on in various lengths. You can even, if you want to, hook them to each other. Like, say I wanted to take this bicone and hook it right onto here. I could do that. And what we're going to have in the end, see that? Is just a little cluster of all these little beads that we've created, all these little dangles that we've created. And I think I'll do one up at the very top, just on one ring. This is super simple. I mean, it's nothing hard to do. I just thought it was really, it would look really pretty. I love these beads, these colors together. And so I just really wanted to do something that mixed them all up here. These blues, they're so pretty. And I think I'm going to do the earrings with this, and I think I may do a memory wire bracelet with it as well. Because I've got a bunch of beads still left over from this bargain bead box. I don't know about you guys, but man, I ended up with a ton of beads still, and I've made a ton of stuff already. So, not that I'm complaining, I am definitely not. That's a great thing, but that you really got our money's worth this month. Not that we don't always, we do always, but let me close that up. But this month, I feel like it was just really spectacular. And the colors were so pretty, and the copper with the blues. Oh, I just love this month's box. I'm going to put him over here. See, just like that. It's just making a really pretty cluster. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to go ahead and finish. Just, you see what I'm doing. Just go ahead and attach all of your beads onto your ring and come right back. Okay, so here is our little cluster. I've got all of my beads on here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this oval jump ring. I'm going to open it in the middle, and I'm going to catch my ring right at, I wanted to make sure that this kind of hung even, so I've got certain beads on one side and certain beads on the other, and I don't want them to mix, so I'm going to just go ahead and put my ring in there, and that'll keep them hanging where I want them to go. And then I'm going to take my Coriana chain and I'm going to stick it right through here. Okay, and that is how simple this little necklace is going to be. It's not going to have any beads coming up on it. It's just going to be super, super simple. But now, let's see how we can make this magnetic clasp work. And we're not going to need the lobsters if we use the magnetic clasp. So or the clamshells. So let me take this piece. Now this piece, the one side's easy, okay, because you just insert into the small hole like this. Insert your chain in, no problem. We're going to crimp it. Let me get my crimping pliers. I'm going to attempt to crimp this correctly. So let's take our crimp, and I'm going to put it right here on the end. And you guys were telling me that I'm probably crimping too hard, and that's why my crimps have been breaking. So let's see if I can do this. Okay, so I'm going to go right here in the first little spot, and I'm going to crimp gently if I can get a little bead to stay there. Okay, let's be very gentle. I'm crimping it down very gentle, okay, which makes it go into this little oval shape. Now I'm going to the back. But see, the thing with this is I don't need this to have the little divot in between, because I'm not using tiger tail. So I'm not sure that this is going to be the best. You know, I'm just using Coriana, so I don't know. We'll just go ahead and do it, see what it does. Yeah, and see, when you're not using tiger tail, it doesn't really, I mean, you don't, it's not going to work the same. So see, again, I have broken my crimp, which is an issue. So I'm just going to take this other one, and I'm going to just go ahead and mash it with my chain nose pliers, and let's see if this works better. I know it'll work for this bigger hole. So let's do that. So let's take the little crimp, just smash it down gently. I'm not going to do it too hard, but you know, I want to make sure it's going to stay, and it is. And then when you pull it up in here, see if it'll go up in there. It doesn't want to because it's just smashed down. So honestly, I'm so confused with this Coriana chain, or with these clasps, how this is supposed to work. So if you can get your crimp into a ball, then it's going to work great. But yeah, I mean, if you get your crimp into a ball, it's gonna come off your chain just like that. So yeah, I'm a little confused on these clasps. I mean, if you guys can tell me how they're supposed to work, I would certainly appreciate it. I do have some crimp tubes here. Let me grab out my smallest crimp tube, and let's see if maybe this would make a difference. But again, I think that it's not going to work because it needs to be in a ball to go up in the end of this, and there's just no way to get it into a ball that I know of. So here are some crimp tubes. So let's put this little crimp tube on here, and these are a good brand. That's another thing everybody was telling me is really important, what brand you use. So these are Beadalon. This is a good brand. But, you know, just turning this into an oval shape. Yeah, I'm just not sure how it's supposed to work with this clasp. And the company was not helpful. They didn't know either. All they could tell me was they didn't feel like it was defective. Okay, so the crimp tube actually seems kind of secure on here. So let's pull him up in here. See if he goes. Okay, so he does go up in here, and it's secure. I'm pulling on it. So this would work great if we can get it to, and let's look at this other side. So see, this small hole has to adhere onto the big hole, just like that. So what we're going to have to do on this side, and this is the problem, is go through the big hole into the small hole here. So now when we crimp this side, it's got to be able to go into the bigger hole on the other side in order for this to work. I don't see any other way that these magnetic clasps can work. And I know I have a lot of really good, smart people that watch my YouTube channel. So you guys tell me if there is something I'm missing here. I would love to know. So I'm going to take this tube and I'm going to do the oval part first. Then we're going to go over here into the little round divot part. Okay, and that does kind of make it tight on the crimp, or on the Coriana, and then we'll go back up here, and this is going to round it. So this does work with the tubes much better than with the crimp bead on the Coriana chain. So crimp tubes are definitely the way to go. But now here's what we have, and see, this is sticking out. Will it go inside there? That's my question. That's what Mandy and I were trying to figure out. That's the only way that we could see that this would work, is if this will go up inside this other piece. And unless I can round it out some more, I don't think it will. Let me see if I can. These magnetic clasps are very strong. If we can round it and make it sit round, it may work. But I mean, even the company was like, we don't know how this works, but they're not defective. That's what they were telling me. Because I was saying, I think these are magnetized wrong. They're like, no, they're not. But yet, we don't know how they work. So, I don't know, guys. But yeah, this absolutely is not going to go up in there any way that I can see. Not with the other one in there. Now, if the other one was not in there, it probably would. But the other one is blocking this one from going in there. So, oh my goodness, look at my clasp with all these little spacers stuck to it. So, again, I just can't see how these are supposed to work. If you can get your crimp to be small enough on this front part to go up in here, but it is not, absolutely not going to do it. Not with the other one in there. So I don't know, guys. You tell me, how do these work? Why is this? I mean, the company's telling me that there's nothing wrong with it, that it is a normal thing, but I can't see as how it could be. I mean, you know, that's clearly not going to go up in there. Not with the other one in there. And the crimp bead, the small crimp bead, just, I couldn't get it round enough. I don't know, unless there's a different way. So let me just pull out another crimp. Let's pull out another crimp bead and just, let's look at this one more time. So let me take this one off, this crimp tube off of this end, because I'm thinking if this were smaller, this part over here, then maybe the other one would be able to fit in. So if I put this little crimp bead on here, this is like a 1mm crimp bead. Whoops, where'd it go? There it is. Okay, little 1mm crimp bead. And I'm just going to put it on the very end up here and just flatten it out, okay? So it's on the very end of my chain, it's flattened out, and it's secure. Now, let me undo this. Okay, so we're going to pull it up in here, and that's the problem with the crimp bead, is it's kind of wide, but if I can, let me see if I can get it to go up in there. This is a lot of work to use a magnetic clasp, I think. I don't know that it's worth it, but I'm just curious now. It's almost like a challenge to me at this point. No, so that does not work. The crimp bead comes off. So I'm at a loss, guys. I don't have any idea how these are supposed to work, but the company said they do. They're like, no, they're not defective. I said, well, how do you get the crimp to go up? Oh, well, nobody could really tell me. They weren't sure about that. They just knew they weren't defective. So, yeah. This crimp bead would have to be completely round, which I know they do make a magical crimp bead thingy. I have never used it, but it is supposed to make a perfectly round ball. So maybe if you have that version of crimp bead and pliers, maybe this would work. That is the only way that I can think that this would work, is if you can get this little crimp to go in a ball, like that little magical crimp plier would do. Now, that one's down in there. It's pretty strong. Let's see if this will go inside of it. And it sort of kind of does, but not all the way. So, yeah, that's what you would be left with in this situation. I don't know, guys, honestly. I think maybe if there is, I've not seen those crimps and pliers, the magical things, but they would be the only way that I can think of that this would work, because that just is not going up in there. Yeah. I don't know. It's a nice, I wish it would, but like I said, I think these are magnetized wrong. I honestly don't think the company, I think they're wrong. I think they're defective. So I'm probably going to take them down off my website because, you know, unless we can figure out a better way to use them, I don't want to sell them to people and have them not work. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use our clamshell covers because these do work. And I have used these over and over and over with the Coriana chain and never had a problem. So I really want to know what you guys think about that, though. I know this is making the video long, but I really did want to show you all what's going on with those clasps and see if you can find a solution, because I honestly couldn't think of the solution to that. I have no idea. So y'all help me out. If you see a way that we could use those with the crimps and everything, I would be happy to do a tutorial on it and do it, but I don't see how. So this is what I do. This works perfectly. I've not had a problem with it, and it is not a magnetic clasp, unfortunately. I would love to be able to use the magnetic clasp. I'm gonna have to use a lobster, but it does work. And I think it's a professional look to finish the Coriana chain. I've heard a couple people say they don't really like the clamshell, but, you know, as far as I can tell, it's a good way to finish it off. And the magnetic clasp just, I don't know. You guys help me out. If you see a different way, I would love to know it. I couldn't get it to work. Like I said, maybe that magical crimper that makes your crimp go into the perfect little ball that everybody, I've not tried them, but people have told me that that's what that does, so I don't know. Okay, we're going to close that up. And then all I'm going to do is get these little crimp tubes out of the way. I'm going to take my, my little clasp here, or my little jump ring. And I'm actually just going to use this as what the lobster will clasp onto. Okay. And let me grab a lobster because I forgot to get one out in case my magnetics didn't work, which they did not. So let me grab a lobster clasp. And thanks for your patience if you've hung in with me on this, because like I said, I just am kind of confused about that whole situation. I don't know how else to make those little clasps work. So there we go. And we've got this cute little necklace. Okay, let me show you it. Go ahead and clasp this and then I'll show you it. So there we have it. And it just is a little cluster, but I think they're very just simplistic and cute, but so sparkly and pretty. So the earrings, we do exactly the same way. So you've got your little ring here. Get all this crimping stuff out of the way. You've got your little ring, and for each earring I have one of these bigger beads, 2 bicones, 1 fire polish, 1 crackle agate, and 3 stardust beads, and my ear wire, and some head pins and jump rings. And so I'm just going to make all the dangles for my earring, and then you just saw how to do that, so go ahead and make the dangles for your earring and then come on back. Okay, so now you should have all of your little dangles made. I've got all of mine made, so we're just going to go ahead and we're going to hang them on our ring and our ear wire. So I'm going to take one of my jump rings. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to put one more on here, and this is what we're going to hang our biggest dangle from. Okay, so just like that, we're going to close that up. And then we're going to hang this one on our ring, our main ring. Okay, so just like this. Now, I'm not going to worry about making the 2 earrings match completely because I've got the other one here that I've already done, but it would just be really difficult to make them match up completely unless you did them at the same time, which I didn't do because I wanted to have one done and then I wanted to show you how to do it. So I'm just going to try, you know, and hang them on there as close to the same configuration as I can get. But like I said, I'm not going to worry about making it exact because they're going to be in a cluster. They're not going to show, you know, I mean, it's not going to, I doubt anybody's going to walk up and be like, let me examine and make sure that your earrings match, you know, like each little thing is hung in the exact same spot. Kind of doubt that's going to happen. So, and if they do that, then there's a weird person you need to stay away from, probably. So we're just going to do it this way, and I'm just going to take these, and I'm hanging some from, like I'm hanging some on the ring, like this one, and then I hang this one from that one's loop. So I'm just doing the same thing that I did over there and on the necklace, and staggering them a little so they're not exactly the same. And I am going to also try to make sure that I don't end up with all the stardust beads in one spot or all of the bicones in one spot. Okay, so I'm trying to do that too. Just make sure that they're kind of spread out a little bit. Let me flip this back over. There we go. And that looks like those two are hanging. Oh, they're not. Okay. All right. So let's see. We've got this guy on this side over here. So I'm just going to put him over here. And again, you know, it's not a big deal if they're not exactly the same because they're going to be in a cluster. It's not going to show that much. This fire polish, I think they are so pretty. And I think the fire polish, I might just catch a couple of these and hang him on there. Okay, a couple more here. I'm going to go ahead and put this bicone over here on this side because there's one on the other side but not one over here. Right here. And then this last stardust bead, looking at my other one, and honestly it looks like it's just hanging up here on the top, so I think I'll just put it above the bicone right here. So just like this. Okay, so there it is. Now I'm just going to take my ear wire and I'm just going to hook it directly on here, because if you hang it from a jump ring, it's going to make this oriented the wrong way. You want it to hang to where your ring is flat, you know, on the front, not the other way. So there we have it. 2 pair of earrings. There he is. Okay, so there they are. Turned out really cute. I love them with this necklace. It's just a simple set, but I like it. So let me get them on a form and I will be right back. Okay, so here's our finished necklace and earrings. There they are. I really like them. I love the little cluster. Just think they're really cute. They're very sparkly, which is nice. And I don't know, the light here is not good for this. Let me turn that one off. Don't think that really helped much, but yeah. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like it, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. I do lots of tutorials and you don't want to miss them, so make sure you hit the little bell. And I'll put all the links in the description box below for Bargain Bead Box and my website, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!